Welcome to AQMD On The Air. I'm your host, Leor Alpern. On our show today, we have Art Leahy, the Chief Executive Officer of the Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority, also known as Metro. Mr. Leahy, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Let's begin by having you explain to us some of your goals and priorities as CEO of Metro.
Well, sure. On the capital side, we have a dozen rail projects, which are very important. The subway, the regional connector, lines out in the San Gabriel Valley and on Crenshaw hooking up to the airport. These are very important as we prepare for the future. We all know that fuel supplies are unstable. Prices are going to be unstable. We have to get ready for this future. And we see Los Angeles changing. We see densification, urbanization occurring all over the place. So we have to have better transportation all over the county. In addition to that, there's some very important roads projects we need to get done that will help reduce emissions in the basin as well. So we have to deliver the capital program. In addition to that, we run a couple thousand buses and a number of rail lines. We are working to improve the quality of service on the buses and trains by achieving better levels of integration, better coordination. We're working on improved on-time performance and improved service reliability. We're going to be working in the coming year on cleaning the system up. The stations, the buses, the rail cars need to be cleaner in order to get people to come out and use the system. So we have a couple of very important themes there. I think I would add to that we have to prepare for the next generation of managers. The future is going to come. The baby boomers are going to be moving on at some point. So we got to get ready for the future at the MTA.
You've come up the ranks at Metro, which was the first transportation agency to commit to alternative fuel buses on a massive scale with the initiation of your Clean Fuels program in 1994. And you remain a leader in utilizing clean fuel buses to this day. Could you give us some insight as to why Metro decided to invest so heavily over 15 years ago?
Well, sure. I was here at the time. We all knew what was going on with air quality. We knew about the health issues. But we also knew that the cleaner buses were more expensive. So it was, at the time, it was a difficult decision. It took a little while to get done. But in the end, we became committed, the board became committed to replacing the entire fleet of diesels with cleaner air buses, CNGs. I should also note we had a bit of a false start in the late 80s or very early 90s. We bought some methanol buses. So we were, 20 years ago we were trying. It turns out that didn't work very well for a variety of issues. But we've been committed now to CNG, and we have by far the largest CNG fleet around.
And could you explain how this program has affected our region's air quality?
Oh, given the population growth over the past several decades, there's no doubt that it's improved. We're avoiding about 150,000 pounds of emissions a day from our fleet. Carbon monoxide from our fleet is down by about 80%. Those all translate very directly into cleaner air and more healthful air for our citizens.
Congress is scheduled to consider the Surface Transportation Reauthorization Act, and this legislation provides the blueprint for several years' worth of funding for our nation's infrastructure. And it is a key tool for helping reduce emissions from transportation. Could you explain Metro's role and what are the prospects for this legislation's passage?
Well, actually, I think we face a great deal of uncertainty in the short term. There's going to be a new Congress. The current transportation bill is not funded. There's shortfalls, big shortfalls that are occurring annually today. So they're going to face some stark choices, either to find additional revenues, which is going to be painful, or to reduce the size of the program, or something else. We will be participating in that. Obviously, we have a great deal of concerns about how we implement SB 375 to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We need a strong federal New Starts program so that we can get our rail lines moving. And we need to have assistance in operations so that we can continue to run the buses and trains that we have. So it's very important. It's going to be, I suspect it's going to be a difficult year back in Washington, however.
Mr. Leahy, you grew up in the greater Los Angeles region.
Yes, I did.
What are your earliest recollections of experiencing air pollution?
Well, I can tell you a couple of pretty stark memories. I grew up in Highland Park, just in northeast Los Angeles. Went to LA City schools. In the mid-50s, I very well remember in the playground having lungs that hurt that your lungs would burn. That was not an especially uncommon event. We didn't even think much of it. It was just part of what was going on with the air. Later on, I went to Cal State Los Angeles over in Monterey Park, and I remember being in the cafeteria in the North Hall building, and looking due north is where the San Gabriel Mountains are. There were many days you could not see in a mountain range there that peaks up to 10,000 feet, and you couldn't see it from a few miles away. So we have many issues before us, but we've made a great deal of progress.
Besides the transit services such as buses and rail lines, Metro has a number of other transportation programs that individuals and companies can access. I understand there is an outstanding van pool program. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, sure. We run around 980 van pool routes. These are good because it helps to get people to work without adding individual one-passenger cars to the road. So we subsidize that, so we help businesses and their employers work together to reduce emissions and congestion. We also are involved in programs to fund initiatives to allow for plug-in electric vehicles around Los Angeles County. So that's an initiative which is just now getting started. So good stuff. I would also add, by the way, just back to buses for a moment, next month we're going to retire our last diesel buses. The 14 that we have will soon be out of service, and that will mark the end of diesel at the LA Metro.
You also have a toolkit for both public and private sectors to help organize van and carpooling. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's a rideshare plan maker. It's a CD we can provide it, or it's available online, and it's just a kind of a how-to to arrange for such things. And so we make that available. And if somebody wants to meet with us to talk with our people about how to do it, we'd be pleased to help them.
In closing, I'd like to tap into your expertise and experience. How do you think AQMD can strengthen its partnership with state and local transportation agencies and other stakeholders in order to accomplish both air quality and transportation objectives?
Well, I think that over the last year or two, we've been kind of all moving in that direction as partners. The we I'm referring to is MTA, the other counties around Southern California, AQMD, and SCAG. We're working together on SB 375 to reduce greenhouse gases. AQMD is playing a very active role in that, and I'm really glad they have some funding to help us achieve our goals. AQMD has also been involved with the counties and the ports on goods movement, how we get all that stuff out of the ports to the Inland Empire and points east from California without all the emissions and all the traffic impacts which we have today. So AQMD has very much become a partner of the transportation commissions over the past few years. I'll also note that this is very welcome because we all need and want to do the right thing, and sometimes AQMD plays the role of helping us to understand what that right thing is. Can I make one more comment just on kind of the broad political debates which have been discussed? There are some people who believe in global warming, and there are others who don't. Some of the ones who don't believe it might be more concerned about national security or buying oil from unstable, militarily and politically unstable regions. Others may worry about unstable fuel prices because of demand climbing in India and China, but supplies being relatively flat. The fact is, though, no matter which of those concerns one feels is the most highly likely to occur or the highest probability to occur, the fact is all of those problems take us to the same conclusions, which is that we need to reduce our consumption of fossil fuel. And the way we do that is through transportation, different urban form. We're on a very important path here to take Los Angeles where it needs to be in this new world which is going to come, whether we prepare for it or not.
Mr. Leahy, I want to thank you for joining us today and for your leadership, commitment, and vision for environmentally clean and efficient public transportation.
Thank you.
And that's our show. Thank you for watching AQMD On The Air and helping us clean the air that we breathe.
Let's work together. Let's work together.